Y'all are funny, man. Seriously, I don't mean it in in a condescending or patronizing way. I really do just enjoy reading your thoughts and your reflections and your discussions and all of that. Um, like this past week entirely, it was great. So, my question would be: has anyone actually ever killed someone? Anyone actually taken a life? What about seriously injured or been in a physical altercation with somebody? Actually fisticuffs or hurt or something. The meat on meat pounding type of, not that meat on meat pounding, the other type. Does a deer count? um we're gonna go human for now because we can get into all sorts of things. We kill animals all the time anyway, for food and stuff. But actually killed another human being type of thing, or been in a fight. Because I think here's the thing, and I don't mean to get all gun control, but I think there is this common discussion point that like generally goes up where it's the I need a gun to protect my home and my family and my stuff. But honestly, how many have ever been faced with killing another person, especially over stuff, material possessions? Did you really kill your siblings? Or in war, killing someone. So we talked last week about pulling the lever and killing your child to save a train full of people. But what about driving your Humvee into a child, a local child, and driving over that child? Why? Because your CO, or to those that don't know, your commanding officer told you that you can't stop for anything, and that even the local children could be used to force your convoy to a stop and then attack your platoon. So they command you don't stop for anything. And so you run over a child in the road. And you never know whether that was a means for the enemy to attack you truly, or if it was just an innocent child. All you know is that you hit and ran over a child. A child that looked about the same age as your own kid back home. And yeah, it's a real story. One of my vets and I discussed and worked through. And sadly, it actually hasn't been just one vet that's told me that exact same story. It's pretty commonplace. And here's the thing. I almost guarantee if you didn't pull the lever regarding the dad in the train, right? If you caused the train to crash to save your son, I can all but guarantee that upon an investigation and such, you wouldn't be charged. We're not looking at that like outcome. The train conductor would. Because again, the train ran the red light. Responsibility would fall on them. And based on the personal circumstances, you'd have that, right? And you would be given a pass due to the circumstances with your son. The question is, even if you were cleared, even if you were told, hey, you did what you needed to do, and actually it wasn't your fault, it was the train conductor. This is the personal ethics part of it. Would you personally feel any better? How would you live with those deaths seemingly on you? What would you do if you come back home stateside and everyone thanks you for your service and calls you an American hero, but they don't know how many children, how many innocents you killed in the name of your country? Would you feel like a hero? Would all that glorification of your military history and service, all that hero worship, would that succeed in alleviating you of all the feelings you're struggling with over what you actually did? Too heavy? Okay, what about this? What's it say on an airplane to do if the air masks drop? Place yours on before helping with those next to you, right? But what about, let's say, if you've got a kid whose hands can't reach their mask? Or, let's say you're in the middle seat, and you've got a kid who can't reach their mask because they got little arms. And you've got a paraplegic who, also can't reach, right? What do you do then? Is it selfish? Right, I know. Is it selfish to follow the rules and put your mask on before theirs? Because in a depressurized situation, you can run out of air and pass out pretty quick. Don't believe me? If you're sitting down, do that thing where you stick your head between your legs and you breathe really, 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 really like fast, but with your head like almost upside down, and then stick your head up and try to cut off the oxygen flow and see how quick you might pass out. Pretty quick, right? So, is it selfish to put your mask on before theirs? Or do you still think you'd feel a bit weird? What if those two passengers, the kid next to you and the paraplegic next to you, what if those two passengers suffer massive brain trauma from lack of oxygen? But you're fine because you got your mask on in time. You followed the rules, but are you personally still going to feel okay with your choices? Again, what if it's your kid? And you got your mask on before theirs, but that time it took for you to fumble and in a very stressful, high-impact, untrained situation, you get yours on, and in that amount of time, your kid suffers massive brain trauma. That could have been averted if you put theirs on first. You still going to feel okay with your choices? And this is the thing. How can you actually feel as if your conscience is cleared? Particularly when it's not just you in this world. Ethics necessarily involves humanity, but it's not just singular humanity. There's multitudes. So how do you feel when your choices impact others to the point of death? How do you feel certain of your righteousness in a world of uncertainty? Enter Kant. I can't believe it's not butter. I can't. Immanuel Kant. He was the absolute life of the party, let me tell you. But Kant wanted to secularize the good that religion emphasizes. See, Kant was in one of the couple of Enlightenment periods. Kant grew up in a strict Christian household, and he wanted to see how can human beings be good and kind outside of traditional religion. Now, he talks generalized by traditional religion, but he's specifically talking about Christianity. He wanted to secularize the good that religion emphasizes. He thought that religion was useful. It's useful. But he also thought we ought to be able to reach for that same goodness outside of religion. And here's why. For a couple of different factors. One, you will see a lot of Christian influence in Kant's beliefs. And they influenced, before we can even get into the categorical imperatives and stuff, they influenced his mindset. Why he believed we could achieve or reach that good that religion provides outside of religion, minus religion, specifically Christianity. Not only did he think that we can achieve it outside, but he thought it was necessary. We needed to do away with the divine in order to have true ethical responsibility, because the divine posed a problem to his need for autonomy. Oh, is that nice? Yes. One of my, I don't know, what do I call them? Parishioners, patrons, something like that, got me this mug, and I love it. So it fits with what I say. Yep, it's not, but maybe it is, probably. So what we're talking about with Kant is we need to deconstruct his philosophy before we can even get into his ethics. So first and foremost, Kant had, again, a lot of strong influence based on his Christian beliefs, and he held this distinctly pessimistic view of humanity. That human character was just shit. He believed in, essentially, that humans were broken. This is kind of that Christian, Judea, a little bit of both, understanding that everything was perfect until we screwed it up type of thing. And that Genesis narrative, God made everything perfect, and then we screwed it up. So we're broken. We have a broken human nature, character inside of us. We're inherently shit. He held that very pessimistic view. He believed in the Greek concept of what's called hamartia. Hamara. Hamartia. Hamartia. If you can't read that. Hamartia. Hamartia translates to essentially missing the mark. That's what he thinks human nature is. Missing the mark. He held, that's what the Greek says. Hamartia was like, something like one of the maps or something like that back there. Missing the mark meant didn't matter how skilled you were, you couldn't make the bullseye. If there was a target, you could not make the target, no matter what, because inherently in you, there's something keeping you from making that target. So whatever the thing is, you cannot hit a bullseye somewhere, right? So you're free necessarily. You are free to hit anything, but you cannot hit the target. So it's kind of, the other thing would be like if the goal of being good was jumping and touching the moon. None of us can be able to do that. None of us are able to jump and touch the moon without any sort of assistance. We all miss the mark. None of us can achieve the thing that is in fact good inherently. That's just our inherent nature. We cannot do this thing. What you will see is hamartia gets often translated as a 3-letter word that you all probably know like this. Sin, or sin nature. So, we have a sin nature that keeps us from absolutely being good. And here's where we get into a concept, just a blip of a concept of a free will. But I would say a free will, I would add to Kant and say it's a free will, but not a good free will. Effectively, we can freely shoot our quiver of arrows, but we cannot achieve the good. So we have a free will, but not a good free will. because we cannot successfully achieve the good based on hamartia, sin nature. But this is the thing. He said, hey, you know what Christianity espouses? Even though we are broken, even though we have this horrible hamartia thing going on, one of the biggest things that Christianity states is, though we are broken, though we have a sin nature, we in fact can fix ourselves. We can fix ourselves. I would say we can change ourselves. Dare I even say, we say. Wow, that's quite a start to that afternoon special. For access to the full video, or to get the full course, or just support me making new content that has everything or nothing to do with what you just watched, head on over to my Patreon, link in the bio. Join the community. I'd love to see you there and have you become a part of something bigger than me, but something where I can play my part just the same. See you there.